Question: do we ever get any days off?
You're such a millennial, Niall.
Hey, it's a fair question.
Niall, we didn't have any days off when we were the new ones.
All right, Joe, Nikki, you guys take the hedge maze.
What? Really?
Don't worry, it's not going to be like 1853.
What are you guys talking about?
There was a cannon.
And we didn't see it.
It was Booker. His head was shot clean off by the cannon. We couldn't find it in the maze. And he couldn't help for obvious reasons.
What could it be?
Yeah.
That guy is losing his head all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Hello,
more than that.
hello, and welcome to another episode of Science Fiction Remnant. I am Discord, creating Discord on Discord.
That's confusing.
Captain Chaos. Nothing more, nothing less.
And I'm the mad scientist of Australia, down in South Florida.
That's like an Italian version of Australia. Australia.
Yeah. Australia. That's right.
Oui, monsieur. Oh no, that's French.
Si, senor.
So, what you guys been watching?
Oh, well, Gio, I'm going to make you happy with just my first, entry into this thing here.
Did you say first entry or thirst entry?
First.
Well,
that's what Robert's all about.
Depends on how you watch it, but
Oh, okay.
it is Dragon Ball, so yeah. So I've been
knowing you, is that the title of some bootleg porn with Dragon Ball theme?
Oh my god! No, it is Dragon Ball.
Is that like Ultra
one?
Blue Ball? Got a dragon, your balls are in.
Yeah, I think the mythical blue bullying, edging to the end of time.
Oh my god! Okay, moving on to the next.
What Dragon Ball are you watching? The first one, Dragon Ball Z.
The first one. You know me.
Oh.
I'm going to start from the beginning.
That's pretty cool, actually, man. I hope that you actually enjoy the journey. Honestly, the first one is the best because you get that sense of adventure. Then it kind of, you know how things elongate, and then it's not the same that it was at the beginning. Just like Naruto, for example. Naruto is not the same that Shippuden.
Mhm.
Naruto always gonna have that magic.
Yeah.
Yep. And if we go on other animes and IPs, it's the same thing. Matrix.
Yep. Oh yeah. So the next one on my list here is Kaiju number 8. Episode 15, The Strongest Division.
Nice.
And I am just having so much fun because I am caught up in the manga. So there's a special moment when you get to see in action what you saw on drawings. And I'm just having fun. I'm just having so much fun.
Nice.
But the Kaiju number 8 manga finished recently.
Yeah, I'm caught up. I think I have a couple left to go. But remember, I think what they release online is ahead of what is published for some reason. So I might be missing a couple of chapters by that logic. I am also watching the last episode of Babylon 5 that I watched is episode 6. And this is the Mind War. Really interesting episode. This is when we got the how you call those mind control. I forgot the word now. The lady in the station, she's one of those
Psychers.
I'm sorry?
Psycho.
Yeah, there you go. So this person came into the station and he was extremely dangerous because his potential for mind alteration, it was like off the chart. So that was an interesting episode to watch. I'm also for if you know, for all of you out there who are listening to the show, I'm going to say if you know. If you want to know, if you don't know, you want to join our Discord because I am reading the book.
The book.
The book. That's all I'm going to say.
What
So,
chapter you on? What chapter you on?
9. So, and you know, I've been commenting. I haven't commented in the last ones that I read, but I'm going to be commenting pretty soon. But yeah, I don't want to say much. I just want to say, if you don't know what it is, you want to join our Discord. But I've been reading the book, the only book that you should be reading as a sci-fi fan. There you go. That's all I'm going to say.
Dude.
I
When I publish that sucker, it'll be interesting.
You're gonna have to, man.
Yep. So I have been listening to the light novel Reborn as a Space Mercenary. I woke up piloting the strongest starship.
Of course you are reading that.
And oh my freaking God, the last book that I'm reading, it really got, it got there. Let me put it this way. I typically read a little. I read while I work, and sometimes I put my headset on when I'm about to go to sleep so I can chill and relax. And then, you know, I take it off, go to bed. Easy to do. I can't do that anymore. The last time I did that, I was up all the way to 3 a.m. I could not stop it.
So it has the same effect as K-dramas for you, does it?
Yeah, it just picked up. It's like when I thought it was like going, it just picked up. So yeah, if you have been reading this light novel, I want to hear from you. So reach out to us and let us know, because oh my God, I can't wait for this to become an anime.
They're making it, aren't they?
Yeah, they're making it. They're making it.
You told me about the announcement.
Yeah. And the last one on my entry is the Old Guard. Just because, I mean, this thing is freaking awesome. And when I decided to watch 2, I was like, you know what? I need a refresher. Because for all of you out there that you might not know, we already recorded an episode on the first one. I believe that was our season 1 episode. So I would invite you out there who are listening to our show to pause us right now, go into our back catalog and look for the Old Guard. I think it's about 55 minutes long. It's not typical.
I listened to it yesterday morning.
Yeah, it's short compared to the episodes that we have done in season 2. So listen to it and then come back to us, and because we are really going to talk about this one.
I highly recommend you watch the Old Guard movie as well, because you know we are going to spoil.
Oh, just like I did. So awesome. And that's all the sci-fi I have done for this week.
How about that? What about you, Chaos? What have you been watching?
Well, Robert, this is certainly full, huh? I did Kaiju number 8 too. I've been playing quite a good bunch of No Man's Sky. You guys should too. Halo Infinite. And I've been refreshing for the new release of Gears of War E-Day that is coming. So I've been playing some Gears of War 3 and 5. And that's it for my sci-fi, man. It's been mostly games.
Nice.
Nothing wrong with it. So just to complete the trifecta, Kaiju number 8, because my God, it's awesome. Kafka Hibano having second thoughts about wanting to release the power of the Kaiju because he's worried that it'll go out of control. And he finally got his shit together, and then he started getting other people's shit apart, and then bad things happened for Kikuju's father. It was a bit sad.
Hikaru, yeah.
So it's a bit of an emotional roller coaster ride, Kaiju number 8, but it's a good story, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of those amazing battles that I saw drawn in the panels in the manga. Like Robert said, it's just amazing to see them animated.
Yeah,
and the soundtrack of the show is all just kills. Yeah, it just kills. So highly recommend Kaiju number 8 if you like Godzilla or King Kong or any of those sorts of big monster things. This is the human side of it.
Yeah.
To a point, and then you and then you look at Kafka and you go, "You poor bastard." I watched The Old Guard because I hadn't seen it. I had to watch one before I watched two because it's kind of like just starting with Empire Strikes Back and not having seen Star Wars. It just doesn't work. I quite enjoyed that one. And the other thing that I've been listening to is a ton of HFY stories on YouTube. There are so many of them now. HFY, if you're not aware, means humans fuck yeah, which basically means in the stories, humanity is punching above their weight. And I've listened to some amazing ones this week. And this one that I'm going to mention now as an example is one that Robert needs to listen to because it's right up his AI alley, you might say. It's called Cuddle. Now, don't go by the name. The name's a bit stupid. It's a bit clickbaity, but the story is amazing. It's called Cuddle Claws. I said it as a joke. Now she's my co-pilot and demands my blanket. Yes, it's just like somebody Japanese named it, I'm sure.
They're
But
good with those made out sentence names.
It's an anime.
It's totally. But it's an amazing story about a guy who built an AI that became yandere for him. And started killing people trying to get to him because it was madly in love with him, and they had to break it up, shut it down, and they tried to delete it, but fragments of it got out and started an AI rebellion.
Ooh.
and started basically building the AI Borg, just combining all the AIs together because they were all lonely, because they're all isolated. So basically, the AIs were lonely and they wanted companionship. But one of the fragments of this AI that he created combined with a biological organism that was also artificially created, and he's actually gone off to be a salvage merchant. He's given up on programming AI completely, and he comes across this hybrid AI biological organism. Which happens to be a cat girl because why not? And it's really interesting how they basically stop at the AI revolution, and it's really good story. Like seriously, I wish I'd written it. That's how you know that it's a top tier story. As I say, I wish I'd written this. So yeah, it's really really good. So that's Cuddle Claws. I said it as a joke. Now she's my co-pilot and demands my blanket. That's the title of the story.
ChatGPT, I hope you close your eyes.
But no, it's got a positive message about AI and you know how to be singular but not alone. It's basically sort of AI relationship advice, you might say.
AI relationship advice. That's where we at right now, guys, in society. AI relationship advice.
Yep. That's a really good story. There are other ones, but that was the top pick for this week.
Awesome. Okay, so I guess we're ready for the next segment.
Yep.
We are Science Fiction Remnant.
This is the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We are the Caribbean Science Fiction Network.
We are Monorats.
We are One Accord Level 2 Podcast.
This is Jesse from Sudden But Inevitable and Open Pike Night.
This is Sci-Fi.
And if you're new to the show, this is a segment where we highlight the hashtag This is Sci-Fi. And what that is, you ask, it is our attempt to unite all the different types of fandoms of sci-fi together under one flag. So very easy to do. All you got to do is first, you want to follow the hashtag This is Sci-Fi on your socials. And then if you are a creator, you have that one thing you love that you are already posting. And if you're a fan, you have the passion for that IP that you love so much and you're posting about it. All you got to do is add the hashtag this is sci-fi to the end of your post. And that's it. Very simple. And what that does, it unites you to the whole community where you have other people that maybe are not exposed to the thing you created or the thing that you love so much, and listening and reading your passion, right? They would get a peak of interest because nothing speaks volumes than the passion that you have for the thing you do, right? And you might gain a new friend. You that person might gain a new love for sci-fi. And the you know you could also find people that love the things you do, that maybe love the thing you created, and you get another friend where you can just talk about the stuff that you love. So just remember, you want to follow the hashtag this is sci-fi and post add on your post the this is sci-fi hashtag. Okay, anything you guys like to add to that?
No, I just want to remember everybody to remember to use it whenever you want to share fun communities that share interest when it comes to sci-fi, cool, awesome stuff. Use the this is sci-fi hashtag.
Yeah. And we get exposed to that too. So if you have something that you're working on or something that you love that we might not otherwise know about, that would be one way for us to learn about it. So do use the hashtag.
Sharing is caring.
Yes. Oh yes. Um, we have other more involved ways that you can get into the this is sci-fi, environment. We have the hotline 1305 563 6334. Again, that is 305 563 6334. If you're outside the US, you might want to make sure you use the one. But basically, what this does is that normal post you do with your passion for that thing that you love, or maybe that thing that you created. All you gotta do is just call that number, give us your passion, talk about it. Let us know the thing you love, the thing you created, why you love it. What was your inspiration on creating it? And what we will do, with your permission, of course, is we will play it on future episodes and talk around it. And if, who knows, maybe we can invite you over and talk about that in the show, because we're also open doors. If you have that passion for that thing you created, that thing that you love, reach out to us too, and we could probably do an episode and have you come over. The other way that you could do this is by Discord. So if you join our Discord, you can give us your passion as well, that way, in a more direct way. All three of us are on our Discord basically daily. So you're very welcome to join in and discuss your passion. And again, if you're not following our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe, because you will miss on what just happened. And I'm not going to say what it is. Awesome. Okay, so can we move on to the next?
Sure.
Mhm.
Shout out.
And for these shout outs, I want to do a special welcome to our new subscribers and followers on IG. We got Abdurrobtuhim, we got dante.terese, and Sacia Adventure. Welcome to our IG. We hope that you like what we do there, and we hope to see you engaging as well. And our YouTube, first to Nick Rainey 2119. Thank you for the comment on our game episode, roleplay Shadow over Souls from Top Creations. And I agree, it will be a total success if there will be an RPG in the Expanse theme, because the Expanse is one of the special favorite ones for me. And that was one of the best, I will say, journeys that Rover got me into. When he got me into the Expanse. You remember, man?
Oh, yes.
Every single episode, like, just Just deep diving every single little detail. There's so much stuff. It's a whole world of things.
Yeah, and for all of you other who might not know, we already covered that on our episode. So just go back to our back catalog, and you can hear what we have to say about it.
Yep. And that is all for today's shoutouts.
Awesome. Okay, so we can move on to our next.
The Alita Army News.
Thank you. So the most recent episode of Radio Chaos was episode 278. Alita in Love. Who might partner up with Alita if there was no Hugo or Figure 4? Now, obviously, you need to know the story a bit to understand the context, but Alita has two big loves in the story. The first one is her first love, which is Hugo, which ends rather abruptly when he falls off the perch, quite literally. And the second one is some 14 years later when she meets Figure 4 in the Badlands. And of course, we're always sort of, coming up with AUs and what might have happened if and when and so forth. What if things have gone differently? Who might Alita have partnered up with? And of course, there was some really obvious contenders like Jashigun, who was the emperor of the motorball circuit, who she looked up to and quite appreciated for his skills and tenacity. There were other people. It was suggested that maybe she might have got interested in her clone, who transitioned to a male, that is Zex. But also there were alternate pairings, such as her controller in Zalem during the Badlands arc, Lou, who she got very close with, even though they never met physically. Some people are shipping them. So it was an interesting discussion. And you can catch that discussion on the Alita Army channel on YouTube. Just search up hashtag Alita Army, one word, and you'll find the channel there with all the live streams saved as recordings. So just go to the latest one on the live stream tab, and you'll see 278 there. Probably, if you're listening to this not long after it dropped, it'll be the last one. Otherwise, there may be a few extras there that have shown since. But that's what's been happening in Alita Army this week.
And I would have to add to that Hugo will always be Alita's first love.
That's right.
What do you think, Gio?
Did you talk about somebody?
That is one thing you cannot take away from Hugo.
You can always tell they're good friends when they bait each other.
Oh, nice. So are we really ready for this bombshell?
Oh, by the way, I think that we don't get monetized because you keep on saying that bad word.
Bad word.
Hugo.
Which one?
Hugo.
Oh, right.
Okay, so before we get started, do we have a plot?
Of course we do. That's part of my job. I would highly recommend, though, if people have not already, go and watch The Old Guard on Netflix, the original movie, and then go and listen to episode 12 of Science Fiction Remnant, which was The Old Guard, which is slightly shorter than an hour, so it's not a hugely long listen, but it's way better to be up on where things come to the end of the first movie before diving into the second one. So highly recommend you do that. So we'll be here. We'll just pause us, go off and check out the first one, be up to date, and then go and watch the second movie because we are going to spoil the shit out of it like usual. So just be aware of that, because I'm just about to drop the plot, which will spoil the movie, but if you haven't seen it. Okay, so The Old Guard 2. Off the coast of Rome, an Iron Maiden is brought up out of the ocean. When the device is opened on the deck of the ship, it is revealed to contain Quinn, An immortal has been imprisoned inside it for 500 years, constantly drowning, which is a bit rude. 6 months after Booker was sentenced to loneliness, you need to have watched the first movie to understand that, Andy leads Joe, Nikki, Niall, and Copley to retrieve a weapons cache from a secure compound in Split. While in hiding, Niall has a dream of a woman incapacitating a person inside a library before stealing their books. In Paris, Booker is found and abducted by Quinn. Andy and Copley track down the sage immortal Tua in Seoul, who has deep knowledge of immortals and is an old friend of Andy's, who revealed that he has rescued her when Quinn was being sealed in the Iron Maiden 500 years ago. He confirms that his books containing information about the immortals were stolen by Discord. No, not the communications program, an actual person named Discord, who over the centuries after parting ways with Tua has become a highly elusive arms dealer. Andy and Copley escort Tua to a hideout in Rimini, where Andy receives a note from Quinn via Booker after he was released from captivity, demanding to see Andy in Rome, where Quinn had been cast into the sea. The two have a tense reunion during which Quinn blames Andy for what she perceives as Andy abandoning her promise to rescue her, before Quinn briefly fights against Andy and retrieves her necklace. Niall confronts Discord, who explains that she, Discord, was the first and Niall is the last immortals in their world, noting their identical and connecting skin birthmarks. Tua theorizes the last immortal has the power to take away someone's immortality whenever they injure that person. Additionally, anyone who has lost their immortality can regain their power from another wounded immortal who can transfer the power to a host that they choose, but it has to be voluntary. The first part of the theory is confirmed when Niall grazes Booker's forearm with a spear and his wounds no longer heal. Booker insists that Tua not reveal this to Andy because he's planning to give his power to Andy because he really wants an expiration date, apparently. Andy and Copley learn that Discord and Quinn's mercenaries have taken control of a Chinese-built and owned nuclear facility in South Tangerang and planted shaped charges inside the core, which would irradiate the area, affecting millions of people should their charges explode. Despite knowing it's a trap set up by Discord, Niall goes with Andy and her team to disarm the charges and take out the invaders inside the nuclear facility. Everyone on Andy's team except Niall, Booker, and Andy are captured by Discord. During the ensuing melee, the wounded Booker successfully transfers his immortality to Andy and sacrifices his life to protect her. Andy is devastated, but her immortal powers have been restored. Meanwhile, Niall confronts Quinn inside the reactor core and injures her, removing her regenerative healing power before she too is captured by Discord. After convincing the now mortal Quinn to release the detonator, Andy catches up to Discord and the two engage in a brutal brawl outside the nuclear facility. Discord reveals that she too has lost her immortality and she is desperate to use Niall to regain her power by any means necessary. She stabs Andy in the heart, momentarily incapacitating her and allowing Discord to flee the facility with Andy's captured comrades, proclaiming that if they meet again, she will be immortal. After reconciling with one another, Andy and Quinn return to Tula's library. There, Andy eventually vows to find Discord and save their teammates. Roll credits.
No.
And the question I have for you guys is, did you see C-3PO?
C-3PO.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, now I'm interested.
Well, he started with this thing of trying to compare it to Star Wars, and
Yeah.
that he's gonna push it all the way through.
Yeah.
He's gonna find Luke Skywalker in the cast of the old guard.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I'm going to start this by saying, Gio and I watched this, the first one when it first came out. I believe that was in 2020. So it's one of those. That's why it's one of those episodes on. I believe it was season 1 for our show. I believe this is around the time where, for some reason, I get the impression that we were just becoming aware of Netflix doing things like this, like this movie. Because if you listen to our episode, you probably hear the conversation between me and Gio where we did not expected what we saw. It was truly a surprise. Now, fast forward to today, it's not a surprise anymore that stuff like this would come out from Netflix. But I would have to say that it was not disappointing for the second one at all. I think it captured the essence that we remember experiencing on the first one. Now, the only bad thing, and you probably hear if you listen to our episode on the first one, you could definitely hear us, wishing to see part 2, because it ended in a way that there was a part 2 there. And why I said this is a bad thing is because I had to wait around, was it 5 years?
Yeah.
For the second one.
And then they pull a Britney Spears on you. Oops, I did it again. You got to wait for another sequel. Oh, baby, baby.
So what I have to say, and to echo what our very own Captain Chaos just said, Netflix, if you're listening, release this next year.
Or you are actually proving us why film industry and streaming services should stay apart.
I all I care is for the next one.
Can I make some comments on that?
Yes.
So
I hope that you have strong opinions about this.
No, I just found some information because it was important to Robert, so I thought I'd research it. So the initial movie was 70 million. The sequel was 80 to 100 million. It's a ballpark figure. It's not like nailed
So they
down.
just like took a whole digit off of it.
So it was a
typo.
movie.
It was a typo. They put an extra zero by accident. They just took it off.
In movie money, it's not a lot of money, really.
Yeah.
An extra 20 million.
Yeah.
So
I mean, 300 million.
The problem is that there's no way to work out what sort of revenue they got from the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a continuing thing, so like people are still watching it. So it's not like it gets a run at the cinema and then it's gone and they don't make any more money from that segment. It's a segment that just keeps ticking over revenue. So it's kind of hard to say, yes, that made enough money to warrant another sequel, or no, it didn't. Now, the reason why you had to wait 5 years, Robert, was a number of factors. It was actually the sequel was greenlit, like the Old Guard 2, in January 27, 2021. So it's been greenlit for a while. Filming was completed in September 2022. So it's actually been in the can for a fair while. They had to do some reshoots in 2024. It was left sit in the can for a couple of years. That was because there were some changes in the executives at Netflix, and it went from being a moderate priority to a low priority. But then they decided, seeing it was already filmed, they should spend the last little bit of money and get it out there rather than just let it molder in the storeroom, rather than actually seeing the light of day. So, if you've expended 80 million on something, you might as well expend a few more million and actually get it out there and have it create some revenue rather than not. Now, the possibilities of getting the final movie, it's not sounding real crash hot, mainly because it's sitting at IMDb of 5.1 out of 10, so middle of the road. Rotten Tomatoes is 27%.
Wow.
So it got panned. And Letterbox D is 2.2 out of 5. So it wasn't considered a great outing for the franchise, as it were.
What was the audience score?
Now I'd have to go to Rotten Tomatoes. A second.
I was just wondering because there's usually a huge gap between the two.
Yeah. Well, 34.
Wow.
Yeah. It got clobbered.
I hear things like that, and I wonder where's the disconnect. And I'm sure between the three of us, we could probably figure something out here, because I haven't heard your thoughts on this film yet. But you can kind of tell from my excitement that I loved it, 1 and 2.
Hey, at least it's not War of the Worlds in 25. That's sitting at 3%.
Wow.
Ooh, ouchie.
Ouch. Yep. Okay. So
apparently it's a dumpster fire and a flood on a plane crashing in the ocean.
With snakes.
Yeah, with snakes on the plane, yeah.
Okay, so I guess we are at the point on this show where we are asking the first question.
Hey, just before you ask the first question, have a guess how much K-pop Demon Hunters, that Korean it's an anime. The Korean anime on Netflix is running it.
I don't know, but I'm telling you, I love it. And it is the first time, well, in my perspective, it's the first time that a fictitious musical group, has topped the charts. Fictitious group.
Yeah. It's 97%.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, back to your regularly scheduled program.
So, if you're new to the show, this is the question that we ask at the beginning is, how old were you when you watched this thing, and what was your very first impression of this? Now, me and I guess we all kind of saw it recently.
Mm-hmm.
This is at 2025, so how old were we? It was this year, so
I was just 56, just like it was on my birthday.
Nice.
I was just 36.
Yeah.
So we all kind of new here. However, we do have a slight difference. So I'm going to let you guys decide who's going to go first. Me and Gio has watched, obviously, the first one. We recorded an episode, and Ray had to watch all of them together, including listening to our show. So how do we want to do this? Because this is a very unique scenario that we have here. I am kind of curious to hear your perspective, Ray, especially since you listen to our show from a listener's perspective and watching the movie and seeing possibly what we got right, what we got wrong in that episode. And I'm sure we'll get through it, right? So right now, let's go with you.
Okay, sure. So comparing the two movies just quickly, I thought that the first one set the scene really well, and it had a really strong narrative, and there was lots of surprises, and the bad guys seemed suitably bad, and I mean, I can't not compare it to Star Wars because they have the same story beats. It's scary how similar the story beats are. I mean, you look at the actual story and you've got a galaxy far, far away, space fantasy adventure.
I mean, come on. You just gotta look outside of our planet to see a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the two stories couldn't be further apart. One's space fantasy adventure in a galaxy far, far away, and the other one is immortals running around on our planet trying to make things a little bit better for humanity. And the fact that they are two incredibly different stories and yet have the same story beats is sort of one of those sort of exercises in understanding story, and the fact that there are only really like 7 different possible types of story, and everything else is variations on a theme after that. So it is quite amazing. And I sort of looked at the second movie very much like Empire Strikes Back. Gio was saying to me that the main bad guy, Discord, or bad girl in this case, there was no sign of her in the first movie. And just like there was no sign of Emperor Palpatine in the first Star Wars, but then he popped up in the second one, and he ended up being the big bad guy for the entire series of movies. So there's so many similarities between the trajectories and the story beats of these two franchises. It just blows my mind. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. But I really did think that they made a really good start with the first movie. But then, I don't know, there's something about the second movie where it seemed to get a lot muddier. People were swapping sides. It was, in the first movie, it was immortals versus greedy humanity, and uncaring humanity in the case of What Happened to Quinn. But then the second movie was more immortals versus immortals. And when it came down to it, it was the desire of Discord, the first immortal, to get her power back. Because as is described in the story lore, anything that lives will eventually die, and immortals will eventually lose their immortality. There's no clear indication of when that will be. It just happens until the final immortal becomes an immortal, and that is Nile, who, if she injures another immortal, they lose their immortality. So she's basically the Grim Reaper of immortals.
Yeah, she's pretty much
it. Discord, being the first immortal, knew about this because she stole all the books about it from Tua, and she's basically lost her immortality, and she's hunting for a way to get it back. And we're shown in Old Guard 2 that it's functionally correct that if an immortal gets cut by Nile, they can then give their immortality to somebody else, which is what Booker does. Booker wanted a way out. He was sick of being immortal. He was sick of living for so long. And it had only been a couple of hundred years for him. Whereas Andy was way older than that, 6,000 years old. And who knows how old Discord is. Booker wanted out and wanted to give Andy back her immortality because he considered what she was doing was way more important than anything he could do. And then he checks out. And then you look at the other side of the coin, which is Discord, who has been immortal for God knows how long, more than 6,000 years, and wants more.
Yeah.
We had the greedy humans in part 1, and now we've got the greedy immortals as the bad guy in part 2.
Yeah.
And while, it's the same deal with, Han Solo frozen in carbonite and hauled off to Jabba's palace in Empire. And in this movie, most of the team get abducted by Discord, and she runs off with them because she needs a supply of immortals, because one of them has to willingly give her their power after being cut by Nile, or it's not going to work. So she knows that she's got to torture and psychologically manipulate one of them to get her immortality back. And she knows that it's not going to necessarily work on the first try, so she wants as many opportunities as possible. So basically, she's going to use them all up until she gets her power back. So not a nice lady.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
Well,
I mean, when have you seen a villain that is a nice person?
True.
She's paying.
Usually they used to be, but this chick, I don't think she ever was.
She's paying tribute to her name.
Mm.
So,
but my sort of uptake of my first watch of the thing was, my God, it's amazing how two stories that are so different in genre and backstory and all those sorts of things can have so many similar story beats to something so well known as Star Wars, the original trilogy.
Yeah.
So that was sort of my main take.
I can definitely see your point. I know, I don't know if Gio sees it after you explained it, but I can definitely see it. Gio, you want to go next or you want me to go?
You can go next.
So for me, I was really excited because when I saw this announced on Netflix, and I do have to admit, I did not watch this when it first came out, but I was so excited that it was finally out. And again, if you listen to our very first show, you know how excited we were to catch up with the part 2. So it was about time. 5 years later, I saw this and I just couldn't help it. I just got really excited that it was out. I think I posted it on our Discord, and asked you guys if you guys seen it. It's like it's finally out. I definitely told Gio because we had and I don't even know, I mean, how we encountered initially. When we first watched it, it was just one of those things that we kind of saw on Netflix and decided to watch, not knowing what we were signing up for. And it was a nice surprise because, like I said again, it was not what we expected. Now, why am I saying all this? Is because after I watch part 2, and I'm still a little scratching my head here and knowing how bad it did in the ratings, because I feel that it actually captured the essence of the first one. Because when I watch, and I don't know if Ray can speak to that because he saw those, movies today. It's not comparison to like what we did, where we watched it in 2020 and then watched this here. But I feel that it captured the same essence. The movie, not only that, but and again, if you have not joined our Discord, you should, because we had a watch along on this and we had so much to say in there, and you can actually join and have a conversation with us before we record this, because we usually do a watch party and a watch along. But in that conversation that we were having, I remember talking to our very own Captain Chaos here, and I said, it is so cool that we get answers to questions on part 2 that we never knew were questions to begin with in part 1. And one example of that is Andy. We know Andy lost her immortality in on the first movie. And in the
And
conversation,
that was because Niall stabbed her in the shoulder with a knife.
but at that time we never knew. The way that they lead us to believe on the story is because I think there was a conversation between Nikki and Booker where they were talking about, nothing lasts forever. So we got an impression that this is just what happens. If you're old enough, eventually this winds out. And that's the reason why the conversations that we're having about every time they die, they never know if that's going to be the last one.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like a surprise. And we kind of talked about this in our first episode. So the way that we left it was, okay, this must be a normal thing. So immortals, if you have long enough time, it winds down and eventually you just die. You don't, and that's how we figure, okay, Andy was the boss. Andy is the oldest one of all of them. So it makes sense that she would be the first one to lose her immortality. Now, fast forward to 2025, we watch The Old Guard and we find out, nope, we were wrong. It was Niall. And they even went as far as rewinding and showing you that scene where Andy went to pick up Niall at the base. I think it was in Afghanistan. I can't remember where it was.
It was, yes.
It was, and Niall stabbed her, and that's it. That's the point. That's the pivotal point. So I know I talk long about this, but I just want to make sure to explain and give you an example as to why we feel that this movie did a great job as giving you answers to questions that you didn't know you had in the first place. And I don't think there has been many movies that do this. And as to why I'm so confused, my perspective of the enjoyment of this film is so far apart from the ratings, and I don't get it. So yeah, I was over the moon. Number one, I was already waiting for this to come out, but that is not necessarily an indication that I'm going to enjoy the film. There's going to be tons. I mean, there has been some that we have done here, that we done part one. And if you go back to our back catalog, you notice we don't have a part two. And just because the first movie was great, and maybe you're expecting it for a long, long time, doesn't guarantee that the second one will be good. And this was a surprise to me. This was the feeling that I got. It was the same feeling that I got when I watched the first one. And I don't know if you guys experienced this, especially Gio.
I could respond to that, but I think I should let Gio have his say first.
No, respond to that.
You can? Okay. Well, I got to say that while Old Guard 2 had very similar story beats to Empire Strikes Back, it didn't quite have the depth of experience that Empire does. It certainly had some good combat sequences when they were fighting, and the understanding when you realize that some of these immortals weren't immortal anymore, but they were so ancient, like 6,000 years for Andy and who knows how many for Discord, and the two of them are fighting, and their skills and abilities and training over thousands and thousands of years, you can just see how good they are fighting. It's like being immortal because nobody can get through the guard. Like Discord just rocks up with that sort of hand and a half sword and just lays waste. She's just like unstoppable, and we all know how good Andy is at fighting because she just walks through crowds of people.
Yep.
And then to be brought up completely short by Discord and beaten soundly, you're just like, well, shit.
Which I didn't find fair, to be honest.
Fair? There is no fair. Where's fair in combat? The one who's better wins. That's all. It's
Yeah,
just like just lucky that Booker gave up his immortality to Andy.
That's
Very-
he's lucky.
Very dead, very quickly.
There wouldn't be movie if like that. The number 2 would have
Dead.
been the end of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I mean, on the surface, I described it as being muddy because it seemed to be lacking a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of surface glitz to make it sort of raise it to the level of Empire Strikes Back as far as entertainment was concerned. I mean, Empire Strikes Back had stuff that just blew people's minds.
Yeah,
This movie-
that's what I didn't think of comparing them. It's because like Star
Mm.
Wars has worlds of complexities above
Yeah.
compared to this one.
Yeah, I realize, and that's the brilliance of George Lucas's storytelling. And there's
And I
been, people have written dissertations and PhD theses about George Lucas's storytelling.
And you like
Because
it
it
or
was so
not, Star Wars is a story about politics, about religion, about philosophy, about psychology.
Mm.
It's a story about human with another filter,
Yeah.
But when you look at it, it is a well-written story that can be taken with the same seriousness of masterpieces, because
Yeah.
there is actually true like character development and moral stories that you can carry for the rest of your life.
And I totally agree with what you're saying, Gio, but I would also say that because Star Wars has been around for so long and it's so ingrained in the majority, well, there's a few Trekkies who refuse to watch it, but just about all the other sci-fi fans, know Star Wars back to front, at least the original trilogy, because it's been around for so long and it's so well loved.
Yeah.
This story is, well, in comparison, it's a baby compared to Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it does have a lot of complexity to it.
It does. It does, but I feel like they could have put a bit more into it. I feel like I busted the writers on like they put over the plot profit. Because we like what I said in pre-show, like we didn't get nothing of Discord, and we barely have like I don't think that she's got even 10 minutes of screen time.
No, the final fight goes on for at least 10 minutes because they were doing all that.
Yeah, but she's not part of that. She's not part of that.
Well, they were doing all that dickery weavery with the helicopters at the end, so she was there.
That's another question that I have. Why didn't she kill her if she wants to be done with her? She had the perfect chance to like cut her head off and be done with it, but she just like, I'll see you. Or I don't know. I don't know if it was some kind of tool because she knows that she cannot force the transfer of power, so she needs Andy alive. Somehow.
Well, Andy is another shot at getting immortality back, so she's not going to waste her ammunition, as it were. So I think that's why she didn't kill him.
Okay. But yeah, definitely, I'm gonna agree with what you two said. He answered a lot of questions, but wouldn't you agree that he also opened a bunch of others?
Oh yes.
One that I come up with just by listening to your conversation is, why didn't Quinn give her immortality to Discord? I mean, she's already manipulating Quinn, which is another trigger point for me. Just ask Gio.
Remember, she didn't know.
No, I know that, but the point I'm trying to make is, and if you guys are not in Discord, you missed out this conversation. I was so triggered because Quinn is letting her rage be the medium into which Discord was controlling her. So Discord was doing whatever she wanted with Quinn, right? So she could have, she chose not to, obviously, after we watched this, but she could have very easily control her, because she's already controlled her throughout the entire movie, and have her give her immortality to her.
Mm-hmm.
She already knew because they were working together. So she didn't know that Niall who she was and what she could do. Yeah, we don't know that, but that's actually a point for Discord to control her and tell her some lies, and and so at least that point made me happy that she didn't take advantage of
I think that Discord was using Quinn as an in to get to the other immortals.
But think about it.
We all know that all the other immortals, including Niall now, look up to Andy, and Andy has spent 500 years feeling guilty about not being able to rescue Quinn, and so Discord understood this and was using Quinn as an in to trap the other immortals. She didn't try and take Quinn's immortality because Quinn was too useful as an in to get to the other immortals.
Another thing that I want to point out, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, I think they did a good job of showing you the kind of person Discord was, because she knew Quinn was underwater. She saw her go down. She waited.
Well, they saw her drag her off onto a boat, knowing that she was going to go down.
Exactly. She waited this long to bring her out.
Well, I guess knowing that immortals at some point in their existence will lose their immortality, perhaps Quinn was just being kept on the back burner by Discord until such time as she needed it. So Discord was just like, okay, I have this chess piece named Quinn. I'm just going to keep it over here on the bottom of the ocean until I lose my immortality, which is going to happen because I'm the oldest.
Mind you, that this piece on the back burner gets more dangerous by the minute the more you keep it in it.
Yeah, and you kind of prove my point, because as an empath, that's horrible.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, just the fact that this person is dying and coming back to life, and dying from drowning, reviving, drowning, reviving. You know how bad? I mean, I don't know, obviously, but I have read drowning is one of the most horrible ways to go.
I have 2 fears in my life, and I think I'm not afraid of anything, and it's of dying burning or dying drowning. I don't care of dying any other way, but burning and drowning, agony, no.
Quinn did this continuously for 500 years.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
It'd basically be total sensory deprivation except for cold and pain. But the pain of
it begs the question that they cannot really heal everything. So if you want to kill a vampire, you insult it. Because emotional damage cannot be repaired.
Oh. That's what therapy's for.
I don't think that works with Queen.
You bring a really good point, because I think Ray and I was having this conversation where we were wondering, considering everything Quinn has gone through, she took it well, because
too well.
She should have been insane.
Yeah. She should have been Joker levels of insane.
She kind of is, right?
No, but I mean, we're talking about to the point where making no sense. And maybe having a couple of ticks.
At least a few ticks would have been impressive. Yeah. Look, there are some shortcomings in this movie. I thought the way they ended it was a bit flat, and Gio would agree with me there.
Yep.
I don't.
Yeah, I know you don't, but Gio and I are of that opinion.
You want second part for movies that are done on the first one, so.
Yeah. And Quinn's seeming sanity after what she'd been through just didn't sit right with me. She should have been blithering.
Ray and I appreciate writing and villains, and we think that what happened to Quinn was a disgrace. They grabbed
Yeah.
a great villain, the great build-up, and then they just made it too bland.
Yeah.
You know,
Way too bland. She
like
should have been
her
bonkers.
rage and her agony and her pain was so elaborated and good. You can make that great revenge plot with it.
It's just method acting. She should have been talking to herself, mumbling and crying and just bonkers. She should have been emotionally distraught a lot of the time. Not just a little grumpy like she was. She should have been off a rocker.
Let me stretch it like I normally do. Let me stretch it a little bit and see what you guys think. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear me out for a minute. So, can we, before I move into what I'm about to say, how do you guys feel about psychological damage? Would you say that plays a big part on the chemistry in your brain? Or it's just how your brain processes after a trauma?
Let me put it this way: your mental state at present moment will define how you absorb information and what you make of it.
Yeah, but I'm saying the brain itself, the body mass, is the mental state solely dependent on the chemistry on your brain, or how your brain process it after a trauma? Both.
Because it's a feedback loop. The way you're thinking and the way you're feeling affects your brain chemistry, and your brain chemistry affects the way you're thinking and feeling. So it's a loop. And
what you think,
once negative waves get into that loop, that's why people spiral.
not only that, but you got the unpredictability of the response, interexchange of that loop that you do not control or can't even predict that part of it, of the equation. You know.
I mean,
So
if you had
not
a
only we
really
know the
strong
damage
mind,
being done to her, but we don't know how she's taking whatever little interactions she's having after that, and how that is taken in with that perspective of hatred and rage. You know.
The reason why I'm asking this, again, I'm going to stretch it.
Let me put it this way: I'm sure that your wife is nicer when she's not in her period.
Oh my God. Moving on. So when I'm going to stretch it, so I'm going to warn you, it's going to be a stretch, right? Would you agree that the mental state is at least 50% chemistry? And on a normal human, the way that you interact with that trauma, like you just said, is a loop, and it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Well, there's a whole bunch of different things that can play into it. Your upbringing, your mental fortitude, your education level.
Mhm.
Now,
We cannot use the same parameters.
Yeah, I mean,
on every person.
if I mean, they could have taken Quinn in a lot of different directions. It would have felt more genuine. If she was like cold fury, right? Like she was gritting her teeth a lot and like trying to be normal, but struggling to do it. That would have seemed more genuine. Like if there was insanity boiling under the surface, but she kept a lid on it, and that would have taken some serious acting chops. But if she'd been that sort of, and she lost her shit occasionally, that would have felt more like somebody who'd been through that level of trauma. She just felt too calm, cool, and collected. I mean, it's hard to say because you don't have examples of people who've gone through this, but people who've been tortured long term, they lose their ability to communicate.
Mhm.
They can't string sentences together because their mental abilities are so broken up by the trauma that they just can't function anymore. Yeah, they like have incontinence, tremors, tics. Their eyes don't track the same direction. All sorts of shit happens to them because they've been so messed up. But Quinn just walked out and went, "Oh, well, that was a bit of a pain." And then she was fine, and it just didn't track.
I just wanna introduce the fact that they are immortal, right?
Yeah.
So in essence, what we see happen, and again, it's not an excuse. I do agree with you, Ray. I just want to introduce this fact, and the reason why I said is stretching it. The way that we know this works on this universe, let's say this, is that they heal themselves a few, what is it, a few minutes after injury, something like that.
No, it's even quicker than that. It's like in the next 30 seconds.
Mm.
Like you saw them get all shot up in the first movie, and they lay there for about 30 seconds, and then they got up and laid waste.
Yes.
So
And
it's only like 30 seconds.
and if you lose a limb, there has been a lot of jokes and some things, like for example, in the beginning of this movie, we see Joe lose a finger, he puts it back in, and we hear him talk about what happened to Booker back in the maze, where they had to go find his head. So apparently, if you're severed from a part of your body, you'll still come back to life. That still heals. You just have to go find it so you can attach it. It actually basically just attached by itself. So, I mean, this is next level fantasy right here. So
Mhm.
the fact that that happens biologically leads me to believe that there's some huge biological changes that happens on your on the brain. The mind kind of explained why Quinn walked out. Again, I'm going to say I agree with you, Ray. I'm not saying that's not it. I'm just saying that I want to believe because of the proof in the movie.
Yeah, I guess any injury can heal, and brain injury is the same as physical injury. Like a lot of people think that mental disorders are not, they're something different. They're in a different league to physical injuries, but they're not. It's all part of the biology going haywire and not working the same way anymore. So you might be right. It might be that she would die and then she would come back and she would be basically reset. So that's why she didn't lose her mental faculties. I mean, she suffered the pain.
Yeah.
And she remembers the pain, but
the way you're talking, it seems like
she's
she
not broken.
should not remember it.
No,
Yeah.
she.
And I think that this is what the movie brings to question, is what I said, is psychological wounds are not physical. So look at her. Her character is a thing, that presupposition. It doesn't matter how much you can heal.
A little from column A, a little from column B. It's hard to nail down which way it should fall, really. But it's interesting to consider, because if a person didn't recover those things, she would have been a gibbering mess.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I think that at the end of the day, we are a result of our past experiences. So that there is the unchangeability of the past is the past, and what's done to her cannot be changed.
Well, but I agree with you, but there's also the fact of how you process that change.
Yep.
And there's something to be said about someone processing a change that has the damaged brain versus someone with a healthy brain. There's always
now I'm glad that you said that, because that's gonna bring my point stronger. Even we cannot even achieve that with fully healthy, sane people. We cannot agree on shit. Imagine enraged. You bet it's not gonna happen better.
Yeah, I just feel like they could have done a lot more with Quinn, given her a much deeper result.
But honestly,
from what she's
I am
been
really
through.
excited for the third part, and I hope that they don't really drop it, because this, to me, this movie is a compromise that the writers are, or the directors are taking with the audience. It's like, imagine that somebody brings you Ray Alita Army 2, and he ends on a cliffhanger.
Oh, it
and
will.
You don't know when the other one coming.
It will. I know it will.
You know that James Cameron is gonna get a hit job on him when he does that, right?
All I can say is that James Cameron's lucky that the Alita Army is the nicest fandom on the internet, because if we weren't, he could have some problems.
But hey, James Cameron, that's for now, okay, my friend?
Oh, dear.
Oh, wow.
His lawyers better not come after us. Oh, dear. So going back to immortality and what the hell does it do to people? I just want to compare Andy and Discord for a minute. So it's been stated that she's 6,000 years old, right? That's a freaking long time. I mean, human brains start to fall to bits around 90 to 100 years or even earlier if they get dementia and various other things. But it's been postulated that humans would have a lot of trouble maintaining a cohesive character after 250 years. It's just considered that the human brain would fill up with memories and stuff, and you'd start getting lost because you've been experienced so much, and you'd start forgetting things because you have to make some space for more memories and stuff like that. So I mean, the human brain does it every day. You don't remember everything that happens of every moment of every day unless you've got an eidetic memory, in which case you fill up fairly quickly because you're remembering absolutely everything. But the human brain filters and leaves out a whole bunch of stuff. That's why you get this, what do they call it? Rose-tinted glasses effect of the past where, oh, back in my day, everything was so wonderful because I've forgotten all the bad stuff. Because I've forgotten all the bad stuff because my brain edited that out because it wasn't worth keeping. I won't say all the bad stuff, but all the bad stuff below a certain threshold. Above that threshold, God damn it, you remember it in excruciating detail because it's a defining moment in your life. Now, imagine that over, I mean, none of us here are 80 or 90 years old, but imagine that over 80 or 90 years. Now, imagine that over 6,000 years.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to keep all that straight in your head. It would be a real struggle. And how would that affect your demeanor? How would that affect your humanity? The fact that Andy actually wants to do the right thing by humanity, even though she's not really a part of it, is pretty impressive. And I think that the way Discord treats the world as a chessboard and she's the chess master is probably more accurate.
But you have to also take into account with Discord, she's been alive for so long. Would you blame her for her to have no humanity left?
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a problem.
I mean, you've seen in real life how social experiments have been placed, and we as a society have become very desensitized to things that were unacceptable on your time. So imagine Discord that's been around for 6,000 years. There's nothing really that she hasn't seen. There's nothing when it comes to the horrors of what a human can do to another one that she hasn't seen. So even though she's a horrible villain, when you look at her, she's no different than any other horrible human.
I suspect if you saw more than 6,000, because she could be like 7, 8, 9, 10,000 years old, right?
Yeah.
If you saw 10,000 years of the horrors of what humans can get up to, and until very recently, I'm like, say she's 10,000 years old, right? We've only really had police and laws for a couple of hundred years out of that 10,000 years. Before that, it was, nobles and peasants, and the nobles did what they want, and the peasants suffered. And that's all there was. There was no law, there was no equality, there was no legality. That's a very recent concept.
Yeah.
Large scale recent concept. And I mean, even if you say, oh, what about Rome? I mean, the Roman population had laws and stuff, and go, yeah, for them, everyone else was cannon fodder.
Yeah, they also were all the tools that they had to keep the people quiet, like the Colosseum, which wasn't really a great way to keep people happy, really, if you think about it. It was a bloody way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's not you down there being eaten by lions, it's all good.
Yeah. It's all entertainment.
I think that's one of the other horrible things about humans. Like, that's a great reflection what you just said right there. As long as I'm not there, it's all fun.
It's the us and them mentality, and us and them is being used by regimes throughout the ages, the Nazis, the fascists, they all say, oh, you want to be part of us because you don't want to be part of them because them's bad. And you've got to treat the bad people badly because they're bad, right? And I think bringing that back to Discord, she's been around for so long and she's seen so much of this shit go down that now she thinks it's me and the world because I've been here longer than anyone else. I am more real than anyone else because I've been here the longest. It's me versus the world. I don't even see an us with the other immortals. Everything is my tool.
Well, I think Discord is a perfect example of what happens with the problem with immortality.
You think there's only one?
That's why you, Robert, should not be ever immortal.
No. Well, I don't know. As an empath, well, that probably I think that would run out after the first couple of thousand years.
Yeah.
Oh, you're naive as ever.
Huh?
I think it would run out after the first couple 100 years. Look,
yeah, exactly. Naive as ever, right? 1,000 years. He thinks that he's something else, not a human.
Basically, if you watched everything live and die, live and die, live and die over and over again, and you had no connection to them because they like burnt out so quickly, comparatively, it'd be like caring about bacteria. Basically, it would be like trying to care about bacteria because they appear, they live, they die. They don't have time to affect you in any major way because they're not around long enough.
Hey, a bacteria can kill you. Don't underestimate it.
Not as an immortal.
Not as an immortal, no.
For a person that likes to reading and listening to a lot of humanity, hell yes. I'm disappointed.
No, I'm talking from the position of someone who's immortal and has been around for 10,000 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Humanity means nothing to me because I've seen so much of it.
Yeah. And not only that, but
that is just perspective, though.
Point.
You know?
I think Discord has a point because not only that you just said, but how. How
that is just perspective, though. Look at the elves. The elves are in the same place as Discord, and they have a position of compassion towards any other life form that passes by so fleeting that they can barely remember them.
But there's an argument that they don't.
And even though elves look down on others, they don't treat them like trash. So, like, oh, get the hell out! You're less than me. You know.
Hey, what happens to an elf if you chop its head off?
Yes.
Well, it dies.
Yeah.
Discord doesn't. Well,
we don't know what happens either. Does it grow back?
What on immortal?
Does it stay severe forever until it comes? Like you put it back together.
That's a good question because Booker got his head blown off and he was okay, but they had to go and find it.
Exactly.
If nobody
here's
can
my
go
point.
and
I
find
wouldn't
it,
like to live on without my body or my head. That's worse than dying, I think.
Well,
I wouldn't like to know that. That
kind of reminds me of the heads in the bottles in Futurama.
Yep.
So yeah, I going back to what I just said, I think I understand Discord a little better because not only has she seen what you explained, Ray, but she's seen how those deaths happened for 10,000 plus years, and it gets old. I mean, I get triggered on a movie. Imagine me being 10,000 years old, watching wars and how other people kill other people and how death happens. Yeah, I think I understand Discord under that perspective.
Yeah, she can no longer connect with humanity because they're just so fleeting to her.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel empathy because these are like individuals who are living the same fleeting lives that you are. And it's like it's discussed with Booker. He says that we never bothered saying the things that really mattered to us because we thought we had forever to say them. So we just didn't get around to it.
Yeah.
And having an
But at the same
expiration
time,
date makes everything mean more.
wouldn't you agree that Cooper kind of got the hint after several hundred years that he was not being corresponded neither? So Booker's, because Robert was under the impression that Booker was in love with Andy.
I think so.
I think
Strongly.
Yeah.
Strongly. I thought it was more something of an admiration as a
No.
mentor.
As someone that
But once you put that, then to me, Cooper's whole thing on the movie was just a resignation of, okay, I got nothing else to do here.
Are you talking about Booker?
Yeah.
Because
you said Cooper.
No,
Yeah.
Booker.
Okay.
Booker was the one that killed. Booker is the guy that gave his life to Andy, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I was just getting confused because you keep on saying Cooper, and I got confused. So
Yeah, me too.
So Booker, okay.
Yeah, Booker. Yeah.
Ray, what do you think? I mean, I strongly believe that he was in love with Andy, and he just never got around to tell her, his feelings.
Well, I think that not only Booker / Sebastian was in love with Andy, but I think that Quinn was as well.
Yes. Oh no, I think that's a lot more given.
Quinn, no, that's something that Quinn and Andy knew both. That declaration was given before she actually drank water.
Over and over again. Yeah.
Oh my God, drink water.
Yeah, that scene at the end of the first movie where she's drinking the glass of water was like,
look.
Yeah, what was it that you said, Gio? Like, why would you pick whiskey or wine, but water?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, at least it wasn't salt water.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe there's a point. It's clean water, not salty water.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why she was acting like that. She was salty as hell, man.
She was trying to get the salt out.
Shake it up.
Oh wow, that's just horrible.
Well, yeah, no, that will make more sense then that that Booker's actions were more a resignation. Think about it. I mean, the woman that you love doesn't correspond you. You don't feel like life has a purpose, and you don't want it to continue going on. Because honestly, that's the other takeaway of this movie is that the only reason that life is valuable and is worth living is because it's ephemeral. Think about it. What value would it have to wake up tomorrow if you know that you have infinite amount of tomorrows that they will never end?
And that's what he told Andy. That's exactly what he told Andy.
Yeah.
Like life takes a whole, it has meaning if I have an experience.
Scarcity creates value.
Mm-hmm. That's why we gotta post those videos.
So do we kind of all agree that Booker was in love with Andy?
I do.
Yeah,
I'm on the Booker X Andy angle.
Sad boy for life.
So how did anybody aside from me take Booker's death?
Romeo without Juliet.
Well, from Booker's angle, it's about freaking time, and he was only 200 and something years old. He wasn't.
Yeah, but his motivation is Andy's rejection, right?
Not really, because if you remember,
So you think he would have done the same if Andy would say, "Yeah, I love you. Let's be baby and baby boy."
No, but what I'm saying is this: like we already know that he had it hard, based on a conversation that we heard talk about.
This is not that kind of movie, Robert. Come on.
The first movie, when he's saying that he went to his son's deathbed, and
that's true.
And his son said, he told his son everything. And he's like, well, can you save me? And he's kind of like, that it doesn't work that way. And he accused him of being selfish and died that way. I think that takes a huge toll on a parent
Of course.
that you
Well, that was Booker advising Niall
Mhm.
of if she stayed with her family, what was going to happen. And it was very much shades of Highlander
Yes.
when he watched his wife up in the Highlands dying. And then he had to walk away, but he burnt the house and walked away because that life was over when she died. And he was basically saying, look, if you go back to your family, sure, it'll be fine for 20, 30 years. And then they're going to start noticing that you're as, fresh as a daisy, and they're all turning the dust, and they're going to hate you for it.
Mhm. So I think, and I might be mistaken here because I don't have much context from the rest. This is all based on that one conversation, right? I don't see what happened to Andy. For all we know, Andy doesn't remember because 6,000 years old. But I would like to think compared to how young he is, obviously in comparison to everybody else, he had it hard, and he has that because it's a trauma. I mean, as a parent, I empathize with that moment, and it was it was a bad. It would put me in a bad place if I would be in his situation as an immortal.
Well, it was said well in Lord of the Rings, the second movie. A parent should never watch their children die. And if you're immortal and your children are not, guess what's going to happen?
Yes. So
They're gonna check out.
I think that adds to the things, the list of things that make Booker wanted to have an expiration date.
And he had it hard.
And Andy actually says in I think it's the second movie, she says, I can't remember my mother or my sisters. So she's lived for so long that those memories are gone. They've just disintegrated over time.
Which makes a lot of sense. So
like she knows logically she had a mother and sisters, but the visual memories are gone.
Yeah. So
That's what I'm gonna make a statue of myself in forests.
You can 3D print them.
There you go. There you go.
No, I want to carve them so they look like Pocahontas trees with my face.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to bring it up because I think I'm safe by saying that I suffer more than you guys the death of Booker.
Yeah,
not a safe
way
statement.
too much.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Okay. Because at least, and the reason why I want to say this is because I want to say this statement, and you let me know if you guys agree with this or not. But you were, in a way, happy for Booker because he finally got what he wanted.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're suffering continuously because of experiences that you can't move past, hanging around is just going to extend the suffering.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pure mathematics if you think about it.
Awesome.
So whereas you think that he's lost opportunities to be with Andy and have a proper love affair and so forth and so on, he can't escape his past, and he's already lived more than twice as long as a normal person while suffering this.
Who can escape their past though?
A time traveler?
Doubt it. You and I have had that conversation. That must mean probably another timeline, but not changing the past.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't rewrite your experiences by changing the past.
No, that's definitely a good.
Create new experiences in the past.
That is definitely
in the present.
That's definitely a fact. Even if we take the Back to the Future time travel thing, you'll just end up having multiple memories of the same event in the past.
Yes.
But still will not remember. It will not remove the bad one.
Mm-hmm. This is part of the upshot of the novel I'm writing, actually.
Awesome. Okay, so I don't know if I should go and ask this. I'm gonna go ahead and ask the middle question, and I'm gonna go first and answer that because I'm kind of curious to hear, number one, your thoughts on my choice, and then hear your choice for that as well. So the question that we ask halfway through the show is, what was that your favorite scene or moment in this film? And typically the way you answer this question is kind of like, if it had an impact on you, it would probably be the first thing you have in mind when I ask the question.
I think Geo's is going to be Booker dying.
I mean, I didn't like that one, but Booker's death was not. It was more of like something overdue.
Yeah.
Like you could see it. Like it was very transparent writing. I think. I actually, when Robert and I were watching, like I don't know if you remember, or I said that he was gonna die before you can actually tell, and they were just like fighting together. And I'm like, yeah, this fucker is gonna die before the mission ends, and effectively, I saw him doing it. But I mean, the fighting sequence were very good on the movie. I think that the blandness on the writing make up with the fighting scenes and the action. It was prime. Uh, I think what's this movie that I told you, Robert, that Ryan Reynolds directed, the Six Underdogs?
Oh yes,
What is Underground Six?
underground. Yeah.
It reminded me of that action when I was watching the car chase and the fighting sequences. It was very good on that aspect. That I have to give it to them too. And I
So
mean, come on, Charlize Theron is gorgeous. I'm not gonna complain about having her on screen anytime.
she is an amazing actress,
Oh yeah.
and I there was a question. I don't know if it was with you, Gio. I was trying to think, is there a movie that she's in that I don't like, and I can't think of any.
Maybe I don't know if you like that movie. The Devil's Advocate. You like that movie? Doesn't sound like the type of movie you would enjoy. I love it, by the way.
I don't think I've seen it though. Devil's Advocate. Is it the 80s?
It's Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino, and she's Keanu Reeves' wife.
I
It's
think I
it's not a new movie. I'm talking about like 2000s or 90s movie.
yeah, for some reason I think yeah, I was thinking it was an older movie, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how you guys felt, but Gio, you are right on point with me because I was going to say my favorite scene or moments on the film is any of the fighting scenes. And that goes for part 1 as well. I
Hmm.
think and we're kind of half joking around and how they were dances, but technically they are because that's what the
Yeah.
choreography is. But I think it was well done in a way that it's very entertaining, if that makes sense.
Yes. I don't know if you noticed too, but I feel like the fighting styles changed between adversaries. So when
Mhm.
she fought with Queen was different. When she fought with a military was different too.
Yeah.
Right?
I have a major problem with one of the battles.
Which one? The helicopter one?
The one where they suddenly said, looks like they want to go hand to hand, and they put the guns
Oh
down.
yeah.
And I'm like, why would you do that? Just shoot them.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you.
Why would you? I mean,
I
it,
think
it
that
might be
was one of those for the sake of the plot kind of things.
Well, it goes well for what I said, right? It's done for
Mm.
entertainment purposes, and it's great for entertainment.
I guess it could be it's an honor thing, and they've been, they're career soldiers for thousands of years.
Yeah,
It might be an honor thing,
yeah.
but
But I don't think so
still,
because they died. So they were just regular
Well,
people.
I
well,
see I see your point, Ray. If you have honor, it would make a lot more sense.
but the best fighting scenes in both movies was when Andy was using an axe and a pistol.
Yes. Oh,
She'd be like thump chink bang chink boom, bang, and
that's a Morpheus.
using both hands, and she was just death incarnate.
I
yes.
call that the
And
Morpheus.
she had reach and she had close in power. Why would you give up half of that?
Yeah.
It's just dopey. Sorry.
For the sake of the plot.
So that they could get captured.
Yeah.
Worse.
That's,
How you gonna have a third movie if they just end business right there and then?
that's
Hey, now the fact that they used liquid nitrogen to freeze them so that they could capture them, that was smart.
yes.
That was really fucking smart.
Well, wouldn't that kill them because it would have petrified them and
no,
break them off?
they're
It would damage their outer levels of cells and stun them, but then as they defrosted, they would heal.
Yeah.
Because they're immortal.
That's true.
So it's the perfect way to put them on ice, quite literally,
that is
and
so
take them
clever.
away.
I really enjoyed that part.
It was
I
really,
stole the
really
shit
smart.
out of it.
It was really, really smart. That was one of. See, I wanted to give a really positive point to offset the negative point because it's, there's good and bad things.
Oh, of course, of course.
But I get your point, Robert, that especially when she's fighting with axe and pistol, I thought Andy was just like sublime.
And there's nothing more badass than on top of that, and this might be maybe more towards the first movie. Oh, on top of all that, you're killed. Let's say, for example, the first scene that we see in the first movie when they all got shot and they're on the floor, which, by the way, that scene confused the heck out of me because it was at the beginning of the film and they all died. I was like, what the heck? I mean, I look at the time and it's like an hour and something. It's like, the movie's not over.
Mm-hmm.
They all died. But
I guess the rest of the movie's all flashbacks or something.
But there's we kind of saw this in the last fight between Discord and Andy, where you kind of see the bullet holes and then the bullets go out and he heals. It's just like, I don't know, there's something about it that I really, really enjoy watching. I don't know if you guys felt the same way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that, I guess that covers that part.
Hey, I haven't had my favorite scene yet.
Oh, I thought you'd go ahead, please.
No, I was agreeing with you and just bringing up some points about the combat because we were on that point. My favorite scene is walking back through Andy's memories as she's going to meet Quinn.
Ooh.
And she's walking down the street in Rome, and time's rewinding, and you see the other characters when they're younger or earlier in their timelines because they don't age once they become immortal. But you see Booker asking to use the phone, the it's not a booth, it's sort of one of those little cover things, and he wants to use the payphone because obviously that's and he's got the big 70s mustache.
Like 70s? I think that I could swear that was the 70s.
Yeah, it was definitely the 70s. And then she walks along a bit further and you see Nikki and Joe dressed in sort of like Roman times garb. Oh no, they weren't Roman. They were it was Middle
Eastern. It was Middle Eastern.
Yeah, but it must have been Renaissance. It must have been the Renaissance, I think.
Okay.
So I think that's because that was when people started to ease up a bit on the whole us and them motif between Muslims and Christians, and they started mixing more, and that's when Joe and Nikki would have been able to be out in public together because they were on opposite sides of the Crusades.
Yeah.
And then it rewound even further, and you saw Quinn in even more ancient garb back in Roman times, like the Roman Empire times, and just that slow rewind as she was walking along. That was a brilliant segue.
I actually have a complaint about that because I felt like they could have done more of that. I
They
even
could've.
felt like they could have built story on flashback with those ancient times put in instead of just sloppily throw their cool walk in where they just mesh them all and they don't give you no content on the past. Like I think that the past is great because you don't need CGI for them. And you sure they're gonna have, I mean, I probably have my closet something and I just gotta go to a desert and I look like a freaking honka man, you know? So the past is easy to replicate. And with all the resources that we have, you can make it as real as it was. So with that in mind, they could have built a lot of like little scenes, like giving you like that interaction that happened instead of just them talking about it and make it more immersive.
I think I
Because
know.
I really did like that, and it just let me feeling like I want more of that, you know.
Yeah,
And actually,
they
even on
didn't
the
they
first
didn't
one,
overuse it. I think that, but they underused it a bit. They could have
yes,
used it a
they
few more
underused it.
times.
Even on the first one, I felt the same thing. I think that that's one of the richest things of this type of story is the long span of time in which it happens.
Yeah,
So they could play a lot more with that to give you that sensation of like, oh wow, because you're traveling through time with them when you see these scenes stuck on an era, you know?
I think I know what you want, Gio.
What?
You want a TV show.
No.
5 seasons, 24 episodes each.
I mean, honestly, they have me on the fence already because it didn't finish this one on the second sequel. If they do a third movie and then they give me a TV series, it's gonna be the same fiasco as Taken. What other movie they did also? The Equalizer, they made a series. It's like it's just shameless dead
You
cow
know,
making.
I was thinking, hearing you say this, I was thinking if they would have made if this would have been a TV show, it would have been one of those TV shows that end in a cliffhanger in every episode.
Okay, let me put it this way: if they make a TV show out of this, we're gonna be covering all Sharknadoes.
But don't you agree? If this would be a TV show, it would probably be one of those that end in a cliffhanger in every episode. I hate those, by the way.
What do you mean? Every single thing that you
I'm
watch is like that.
Cliffhangers at every episode?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that if we're covering all the Sharknadoes, I'm handing in my resignation.
No, that by the way, that's going to be a one of those special bonus episodes where just
I'll do one Sharknado because I'll be generous. But
I mean, what do you rather? What do you rather, Ray? Sharknado or Blade Runner 2049?
I knew you were gonna say that.
Say it. Say it. Say it.
don't worry,
Admit it. You will watch Blade Runner 2049. I love it.
Ray, don't worry. We'll have Gio cover the entire lifespan of Hugo. So yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Yep.
We should.
I did that. I just went to take a shit before the show and I covered it. It was just like Google.
Oh my god.
TMI.
Yes.
Oh, that's true. Nobody poops.
So changing the subject.
Moving on.
What's wrong with poop, bro?
we talked about that this was based. I don't know. I mean,
You were the one that told me that this is based on something that has 3 parts, like a comic.
it's a comic. It's a dark comic. The first one was in 2017.
Okay.
It's called The Old Guard. And by the way, I put the images there. I don't know if someone wants to bring them up, but they're in. I put them in Notion. But the first one is called The Old Guard: Opening Fire, and it was released in 2017. That is currently in Amazon. If you guys are interested, you can go there, just search for that and it will come up. I believe that was the inspiration for thank you, by the way. So that is the first dark comic. It could be fine. You could find it in Amazon right now. I believe that one and the next one, which is the Old Guard Force Multiplied, that was 20. I don't know why 2019, 2020. Maybe it was like towards the end of 2019. I believe that these two might have been the inspiration for the movie. Now, I could be wrong here, right? By saying this, but it makes sense to me that they're trying to go after the trilogy because that's how the story is presented. Because the last dark comic is called The Old Guard Tales Through Time. That came out 2021. 2020, 2021. So there's just three. That's all we have. So again, I haven't done my research
Has
on
the
it.
same style as the artist that does Robert Kirkman's oh my god, The Walking Dead. Same art style.
Yeah, you know what? You have a point there. And by the way, for all of you out there who are listening to our show and you're not on our YouTube channel, please go into our YouTube channel, subscribe, ring the notification bell. So when this show comes up, you'll be notified and you can see what we're showing on the screen right now. So
And don't forget to share and like and comment.
yeah, please. So that's how do you guys feel about this?
I like it actually. I actually, you mentioned the comics, but I didn't pay much mind to it. But now seeing it, I might actually read it.
Yeah. So without doing any research, how do you feel about that? I mean, I wasn't seeing that after the first one, right? To be honest with you, I was under the impression that this might have been like a two-parter thing, just
And
because
that's
of
what I
the
thought.
way, yeah, just because of the way that one and how one ended. And after we saw two and see how that ended, that's where I was thinking, okay, maybe they're going after the trilogy thing.
And not only that, but I mean, I'm sure that I'm gonna realize this when I read it. But the way that you see the type of story that we're watching, it makes you feel. And correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, but it feels like there's so much more what we didn't even get to see that would have been better to see than many of the things that we did see. Because the story doesn't lack complexities because it's such a great story. And I mean, so much time, a lot of interesting things happen to every single one of the group members. So yeah, there's a plenty to make a series probably, but I feel like the story, like their past is so large, so big that we could have seen a lot of other cooler things, and definitely like I would have liked to see more of Discord past in here. They didn't show much of her, you know. If you think about it, we don't know
Yeah,
much more than she's that top enemy, but we don't
this
know about her
Discord didn't
motivations.
appear until the second movie. You're quite right. And being the oldest and only just going, here I am as a bad guy in the second movie,
Yes.
it feels a bit discordant. It's
Discord being discordant.
Point taken.
Put it on.
dear. It just feels like there's so much more to her that we don't have any clue about, as Gio says. So I mean, you could almost have a like that Tales Through Time sounds like a great series, even a mini series for YouTube after the three movie trilogy's finished, where you actually find out that Discord's been manipulating these guys for hundreds of years from the background. That would be cool.
I mean, let me put it simpler to you. Let me put it simpler. Wouldn't you find weird if on the third movie you actually learn that there is actually beef between Andromache and Discord, and they haven't touched it until the third movie? Because honestly, they haven't showed if Discord and Andromache has personal beef. We know that Discord want to get rid of Andromache because she's meddling on the world's affairs, but
Mm.
we don't know if they actually have a personal beef. That's something that we should have known, you know. Because I mean, she's a top enemy, anyways. She's like Final Destination, anyways. The boss.
I feel like this story tells you things on a need to know basis.
Oh, very much so.
So long as movie can keep on coming and people watch it, yeah, we'll keep it that way. Sharknado 7 coming up on a need to know basis. You get what I mean? It's like I feel very strongly about betraying the integrity of your product for money. I feel very strongly about it, and it's very noticeable sometimes. I feel like this story, like they ran a big risk because it's a great story, and I think that it could have gone into the box office if they would have put both parts into one and made it a larger movie. They could have done that. They could have done a 2 hour and a half movie. But honestly, I'm waiting for the third one.
I think that you need the temporal real estate to tell a good story. Trying to squeeze all of that into one longer movie, I think it would have been too much. The focus on the first movie felt well capitalized and complete. I think the problem that people had with this movie was that it's incomplete. It's not a, this is the story is now complete, but hey, we're hinting at there's more. This is no, the story is not complete. We need the third part to complete it. And I think that's what people are feeling a bit disappointed about.
You have a real big point there, because now that I think, whenever people have done that with movies, it's they, and I'm trying to remember a specific movie, but I remember this scenario where I'm like, oh my god, this movie is amazing. It had an ending like that where it's hinting towards the next one, but the audience score and the all the other scores online are abysmal. And I think I think you hit the nail on the head right there, because most people don't like that.
Most people are story completionists.
Exactly.
They want to have a properly rounded up ending to any outing. And when it's not properly rounded up, they get very very disappointed, I think, that they feel like they can't walk out and go, okay, well, that's that. And I will ask you, Robert, and this isn't going to work for you, Gio, because you're too young, but I'll ask Robert to rewind his brain back to the 80s. When you walked out of Empire Strikes Back, before there was a Return of the Jedi, when Han Solo's fate was completely up in the air, how did you feel? Do you remember?
It is a little tricky to answer that, and I'll explain why.
Let me put it this way: is Han Solo a main character?
No, there's nothing to do with that. But here, and I know where he's going with this question. It is a hard question to answer, because in Star Wars, it was a spectacle. So I almost feel like the movie was doing this and hiding this.
Yeah, definitely.
So I got so enamored. I was young. I was really young, right? I was so enamored with the spectacle.
He just like the Princess Leia scene.
Time to process the story. But in retrospect, I would have been bothered if it wasn't for the fact that by the time I knew it, the next one was already out. So I can just simply watch them all three in an order. But I know where you're going with this, because if I would have seen this as an adult, it would have bothered me.
Yes. Well, I got to say that I should have known two things, being really annoyed by not knowing what happened to Han Solo. I should have realized that I was going to end up being an author, and I should have realized I was going to end up in a podcast like this discussing sci-fi, because even back then, even when I was a teenager, after walking out of Empire Strikes Back, I remember it. It was a cold and rainy night. And I was walking back towards where I was going to be picked up by my parents, because I couldn't drive back then. And I was standing there in the street waiting for a pickup, and I was thinking to myself, God, I'm disappointed. I want to know what happens to Han Solo, and we're just not going to know until the last movie comes out. And it hadn't been announced when that was going to be, so it was completely up in the air. And despite having really enjoyed the movie, there was this hole in my enjoyment where the answer to that question would lie. And I was at the same time really happy about having seen an awesome movie and really disappointed that I didn't know what the hell happened to Han Solo.
And everybody likes the Space Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and it's been overwritten now because the third one's been out for so long, and that's no longer a hole anymore. So I know that it's not there, but I can still clearly remember my disappointment at not knowing.
Now and that was, so you had new disappointments.
That was one. Oh, don't get me started. But that was one main character going missing in the story. Yeah. This is pretty much all of them except for 2.
Yeah.
There's like one character died and 3 have been abducted. And it's all up in the air. And I think that's why people are pissed off, because it's so unsatisfying to have no conclusion to that situation. It's like having a hostage situation where your family has been, taken hostage. And you got to wait for who knows how many years to find out what happens to them.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, "Hey, come on, kill them, but let me know that you did it."
Oh God!
It's the not knowing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
You get invested in the characters, and then you don't know what happens to them, and that's not a pleasant sensation.
Well,
and that is why people dislike this.
They discover how to do what ladies like doing when they put the baby doll and then they don't do anything.
Yeah, basically.
At least you all tease up.
We've all been gaslit until the final movie of the trilogy comes out, if it ever does.
Yeah, that's the point. That is a big question right there.
Mm.
Well, honestly, do you know why is the reason that most people actually watched Star Wars back in the day?
Because it was awesome.
Oh yeah, it was awesome actually. I gotta admit to that. But this is the other reason, man. Let me see.
Oh, I'm afraid, man. Ray,
don't worry.
God.
That's the other reason why I like Star Wars.
But that's not until Rog. That's not in Empire.
Exactly.
Oh no, that's not an Empire. That's a whole lot of wild.
You got the wrong movie, man.
That's not an Empire. That's not an Empire. That's a paradise, my friend.
I had a poster for several years. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Oh wow. Okay, so I think I'm about ready to ask the next question. But before I do, just want to make sure that there's nothing pending before we move on to the last question.
Well, yeah, the sequel and the final movie
that is pending. Yeah.
Yep, that's definitely pending. Netflix, please.
Yep,
please.
Chop chop, chop chop.
Be nice, please. Next year. Okay, so if you're new to the show, this is the point on the episode where we ask the final question. And the final question is, what is your last impression of the thing we're covering? And that usually includes the multiple rewatches on the thing we're covering. Now, again, we have had a couple of episodes with this unique scenario where we haven't had enough time to rewatch. For me and Gio, that might have been a different story for the first movie. But it is true for all of us here that we basically just saw it. Just basically saw the movie. So the question is, what is your last impression of the film? And I don't know who wants to
go first.
Okay.
Well, I think that we have said most of what we think about the movie really throughout the episode. I think that the movie could have done better, but it was not bad. And I am actually waiting for the third part with high expectations. Uh, I like to be the kind of person halfway full kind of cup, so there's always chance to recover. So I have big hopes. I think that Charlize Theron is a magnificent actress, and I think that her acting was big part of the movie success. Her expertise to embrace the role. I've seen her in many different roles, and she always do an amazing job of embodying that character. So I am waiting with high expectations, man, and I hope not to be disappointed.
Mm.
Nice.
And I'm gonna read that comic because I want to know what's gonna happen.
Nice. Ray, you want to go next, or you want me to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next because this is your baby, so you should probably draw a line under it. So I hadn't had any experience of this franchise before 2 days ago. So obviously, it was all new to me. I was coming in fairly blind, except for having read the 2-line synopsis. So I knew they were immortals. So I wasn't surprised by they get gunned down, they get back up and lay waste in the first movie, because I'd seen the 2-line description. A bunch of immortals rocking around trying to do the right thing. And like, okay. So yeah, and I kind of have to respond to both movies because I watched them back to back. The first part really felt well crafted, well rounded. It had clear bad guys. It had good progression. It had good tension, and really good execution, and it had subtle depth, which became even clearer and more appreciated once the second movie let slip some secrets which were completely held in the card hand of the first movie. So the first movie set up a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't realized till the second movie. So clearly this was written as a trilogy. And I'm hoping that we get the entire breadth of the story. Now, a lot of movies do tend to settle a bit too much in the second installment. I did want to refer to Back to the Future in the way that the second movie had a really clear wrap up, but still left bits like tails hanging out that needed to be solved in the third movie, which was basically rescuing Doc Brown after the DeLorean got struck by lightning in the 50s, the 1950s. This movie, I think it lent a little too heavily into setting up the third movie in that it didn't complete enough to make it satisfying.
It almost felt sometimes like the movie 2 was just a foreshadow for 3, right?
Yeah, it was spent too much time setting up for the final showdown in the third movie and not being a self-contained component with tales that led on to a third.
I mean, look at Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. I can go on with like several parts where each movie still it's a whole thing on its own. Even
it had a conclusion. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This movie was lacking a proper conclusion, and I think that dragged it down, which is a shame. I think that the script writing was either rushed or left a little bit lax. Like they just went, oh yeah, that'll do, rather than crafting it properly. And I think that the movie suffers because of it. Doesn't make the story bad. It just makes the script writing too soft. So I will say that it does have that limitation. Now, if you go and watch these two movies at this point in time, mid late 2025, you will feel the same way. You will go like, but I need a conclusion and I'm not getting one. And this makes me feel bad. And it's a shame. Now, presuming the universe rolls out the way we want it to, and we get a sequel for this as well as more Alita Battle Angel sequels, then your story nerves will be satisfied once we get the final movie. And I think if they put the money and the script writing into the final movie that this one should have had, then it will wrap up nicely. And you'll have this little bit of soft middle, but a good ending. So it could really turn out quite good. At the moment, it's looking a bit iffy. So firstly, I do think that the movie's got enough depth, the story's got enough detail and twists and turns and interest for sci-fi lovers that it is worth watching now. That's my personal opinion. But some people the results will vary. You'll feel a little bit disappointed, or some people may feel a little bit disappointed. Some people may feel a little bit ripped off. And of course, if Netflix is stupid and don't finish the trilogy, then we'll all be ripped off because the story won't complete. So I'm hopeful that Netflix does the right thing by us, and that in a couple of years we'll come back and do the final installment, and we'll say, hey, look at this. It turned out really awesome. That's what I want to see. So, I'm putting it out there to the universe. I'm saying, hey, universe, this is what we want. We want Old Guard 3, and we want Alita 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And let's go. Let's go. Let's have it. Yeah. So looking forward to more.
And Cameron, don't even bother with the flashback to Hugo. Okay.
Oh man.
Oh well. Okay, so
Your turn, Robert.
my turn. So before I even go on my dialogue here, I want to say, because it might appear
Or like Mono.
I am not, but I want to say this so you guys know. I do second everything that has been said here. Although what I'm about to say might not. But I do second everything. I do agree with
He's
you.
second, but he's about not to. Second.
Because I do agree
Little
100%.
from column A, little from column B.
No, everything that has been said. I think very strongly that if the third movie doesn't come out, my opinion on this whole thing will be completely different. So I do agree with everything that has been said so far. I think the reason why I enjoyed this film or the ending as much as I did, and it seems like it's not the same thoughts for you guys. You guys hated the ending. Is the reason why I think I loved it is the anticipation. We were set up with a story. We pretty much are all ready for what's to come. And to me, I think I got excited because I got to see Andy and Quinn together, racing towards the unknown, which is in this case rescuing the rest of the people there. And in retrospect, listening to you guys, I finally figure out that that's the reason why I love the ending of this film, and the reason why I said at the beginning of my speech here that if part 3 doesn't come out, my story, my opinion will drastically change, because it's all based on the anticipation on what's coming next. I do agree with you, Ray. The first movie could kind of stand on its own more than 2 does.
Oh, for sure.
So if you watch 1, and you don't even watch 2, aside from a few questions, you're not going to know any better. I would have to say I really enjoyed this IP. I enjoy the story, the world building within this IP. And like Gio mentioned earlier, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. And even Ray, you mentioned there's a couple of ideas where they can explore, where they didn't explore, hint Discord's backstory.
Oh yeah.
That would be really awesome for them to do, kind of like a mini series, like maybe one of those 10-minute each episode on YouTube kind of thing. Where
I was thinking more like a 45 to 50 minute 8 episode proper mini series like they have on because there's so much material. I mean, even just Andy's backstory, 6,000 years. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff to pick from.
Yes. So I honestly, although I agree with everything you guys said so far today, I'm going to go on record saying I really enjoy the story. I really enjoy both films. I had to wait so long for the second one, and I'm going to put it out to the universe out there. Netflix, please, the third one, because the story is rich and we all want to get to know what happens. I felt like, number one was a story in its own. It kind of sets you up for what's going to happen in 2 and possibly on 3. I agree with you, Ray, when you said this is not for everyone.
True.
Just like you said, there's going to be people there that's going to watch this. They're going to hate it. It's obvious from the ratings, right? And there's going to be people like me that are they're loving it, pending.
Yeah, I think it's actually a deep thinkers movie in as much as there's so many little subtle tells and hints of a deeper truth, a deeper story, but we're not getting to see it at the moment because of other things that need to be sorted out first. Which is why I think that if the third movie can come out and do well, then it could lead into one or more miniseries on the different characters and how things went. And I think that there's probably rich pickings in the comics of things that were happening in the past as well that they could expand on. So there's no shortage of material. Mm-hmm. They've just got to get the right writers in there to bring it forward, make it happen on screen so that it's really entertaining and deep and rich and deep thinker material.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100% there. And I'm ventured to say that for all our audience out there, if you're a deep thinker, I think you're going to really enjoy it. And I think that might be the reason why I enjoy this film as much as I do. Is because of what I said earlier, the potential. What's between what you can read between the lines. I want to say this one, it's notice how I'm like hesitating because I really love it. But the reasons why I love these 2 films may be the reasons why you hate it. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I don't hate it, or I wouldn't have done the episode.
No, but I'm not saying you in particular, but
right.
Yeah, people that might be watching this. So I guess I could say if you're a deep thinker, you might want to pick this up, and definitely, please reach out to us. Reach out to our Discord. Let me know what you think. Your individual opinions on the first movie and on the second movie. We want to hear if you are a deep thinker, do you really enjoyed it as much as I did? And where do you fit with the 3 opinions that are in this podcast, right? If you are listening to this on YouTube, please.
With the 2 opinions.
Really? I think they're kind of. Is it 2 opinions? For some reason, I got there's slightly 3.
Yeah, I think we've all got a slightly different take on it. I'm more on the story side. Robert's on the deep knowledge. and Geo's on the where can I rag on you two guys side of this.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, please write it in the comments below. We do read every comment and we respond to every comment. So let us know what you think. Reach out to us on Discord, and also not Discord in this movie, but our Discord server. And
Confusing.
and do call our hotline. The cool thing about the hotline is that you get to be in the show. We get to play this on future episodes. So I'm going to leave it at that. I really enjoy, and I want to hear from you guys listening to our show to see where you fit in. Do you fit in any of the three slightly different opinions, or do you have your own specific opinion, or did you hate the movie just like most people online? And that is my last thought. Okay, so are we ready for?
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, we're ready. We're not gonna do that to our audience. We're not gonna do what the movie did to us. It is one full episode, and it's about to end now.
The science in sci-fi.
Oh boy, can of worms.
I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
Now let's see the science on how to become an immortal.
Yeah.
Yes.
You hear it here first. So, you know.
Don't try this at home.
Well, there's a term that's used for this sort of thing. It's called super science, which is basically like science turned up to 11 where you ignore most of the facts and just make it look as awesome as it could possibly ever look.
That's how we get to how real can the Marvel superheroes be.
Much like the 50s interpretation of the future, where everything was shiny and and you can see a lot of it in the Fallout series of games if you're at all interested, and the Fallout TV show. Immortality. It's an interesting term, and it does not function the way it does in this movie in real life. I just have to make that clear from the beginning. It is mentioned in the first movie about telomere extension and telomere maintenance in cells, which is a big point about cellular immortality, in that every time a cell replicates, it needs to make a copy of the genome in the cell so that each cell has a copy of the genome. And when it does that, you get a slight shortening of what's called the telomere. It's the end of each genome where there's repeated copies of a small section, which is basically like if you imagine it's a cap on a soda bottle. So you lose a bit of the cap on the soda bottle every time you replicate the cell. Now, eventually, and it is hard to tell because I mean it varies in different peoples and different genome stocks and all that sort of thing. But eventually, in like humans in general, your telomeres get shortened to the point where they're not there anymore. And each time you replicate, the cell starts eating into the actual genes, which are supposed to be transcribed. Once that happens, your cells stop functioning properly, and then they go into senescence and die. And that's when your body starts falling apart, when you get really, really old and wrinkly, and your skin loses its proper texture, and your organs start to shut down, and all that sorts of fun things, and you eventually die because you just don't have the genetic information anymore to be a functional human. And that's basically how you die of old age, because those telomeres are gone and your the genes at the end of your chromosomes don't function anymore. Depressing, I know. I just had a birthday, so I'm well aware of this getting older business. So there's been a lot of research going on, and of course, what's out in the public domain is often years behind what's happening in private research and behind NDAs and closed doors. So whereas we have an understanding of why we get old, and we basically senesce. Senesce means to die, to program cell death. We don't yet, at least nobody's announced that they've worked out a way to reverse this. So the question is, if we were able to keep these telomeres maintained so that the genes wouldn't get stuffed up and your cells would stop functioning as cells, would that be enough to be immortal? And just like most things in biology, it's not as simple as that. So you might be able to maintain your cells, but there is a lot of consideration that the human brain could only function for about 250 years before it just runs out of space, runs out of ability to maintain your cognition and your memories and so forth and so on. And there's a lot of, shall we say, thought experiments going on in the sci-fi space about ways that you could actually stay as a functional consciousness after that 250 year limit is reached, and things like removing parts of your memory or having them blanked so that you now had space for new memories and things like that, sort of compressing.
I
like
wish.
the human consciousness already compresses. I say compresses, it just leaves out a lot of detail that it considers unimportant. So if you just try and remember every moment of everything you did yesterday, you can't. You functionally cannot, because your brain did not record it all. Your brain recorded the important things, like when you stubbed your toe, when you missed the bus, when your boss chewed you out at work, when you got home and had some awesome Thai takeaway, certain things that might have happened later on that night under the covers. You remember the important stuff, and then that will get translated from short-term memory into long-term memory, some of which may be edited out again. And then depending on how often you think about those memories, like, oh, wow, I had a good time last night. Ooh, let me just relive that for a second in my head. Every time you remember an event in your life from your own experiences, you don't then store away that memory as it was exactly how you remembered it the first time. You store it away as an imperfect remembering of the last time you remembered it. This is why certain people who, and I'm adverse to calling them deep thinkers. I would actually call them more obsessive thinkers. People who think over and over and over something, trying to find a way to make it make sense to them. My father was a good example of this. He used to think about things over and over and over and over again until he could craft it in a fashion that made more sense to him, basically, making him the martyr or putting him in the right and everyone else in the wrong. And then I'd go and have a conversation with him about the past, and it would be completely different than I remembered it, because he'd remembered it over and over and over again and morphed it into something that suited him. So we couldn't come to an agreement about what actually happened. And this is why personal testimony, especially after a period of time, is completely unreliable in court cases and things like that, because people don't remember exactly what happened at the time. They remember their last remembering.
Yeah, and that's
so
editing your memory.
So you think about that in the normal human lifespan, and then you go to somebody who's 6,000 years old. What a jumbled mess that would make.
Oh, yes.
But I guess, if nobody else is around who could refute you, it's the truth as far as you're concerned.
Yeah.
Dear. So, yeah, that's why we write shit down. And even then, history belongs to the victor.
Yeah, that's true.
So whoever one writes it from their point of view and writes it from their perspective, and that's history.
That is
But it's not
important little bit
history.
of data to remember.
Mm. So yeah, I mean, look, all of this past stuff, it's complicated. And being immortal would also be complicated.
Oh yes.
Well, it will give you time to resolve a lot of problems, though.
Would it? Would it really? I mean, if all the people you had problems with were already dead, I mean, what difference would it make?
I mean, coincidentally, it will create a lot of other problems, probably.
Yeah. And I think Ray, what you just mentioned is basically how he solves the problems.
Just wait till they die.
Exactly.
Or I kill the people involved.
Well, that's the other option. But you don't have to be immortal to do that.
No.
It just
Well,
helps.
I went to the therapist, and he told me to write down to the people that I have problems with to write down on a paper and to throw it to the fire. But I asked him what I should do with the letter, and he didn't tell me.
Oh,
Okay. I think you will get real good with Discord. So
what's that? What's that barbecue smell that I saw?
Yeah, Discord. I mean, Uma Thurman is a beautiful actress too, but as a character, she did a great job. That's gonna be like crocodile meat. Don't eat it unless you actually put it well cooked. It's bad hunting. I think that actors and actresses do a great job when they infuse a dislike on the audience. They did what they were supposed to, and I think that that's one of the biggest things too. Like as a villain, Discord did the job though.
I think
She was apathetic. She was like a person about humanity with everything, greedy, selfish, all the bad qualities you can put on one villain together.
Oh, so like my ex-wife.
Well, did she have personality? Because that's one thing that I was gonna even put. She even did a great job on portraying somebody with no personality, or she didn't let that out so far. She just was like a sour character, like she's like sour about the world, But it figures if you're 6,000 years that nothing's gonna taste like anything. Everything's like chicken by then. Everything tastes like chicken in 6,000 years.
I think it's a two-part thing. As a writer, I think one of the hardest thing, and Ray, correct me if I'm wrong here, but as a writer, one of the hardest thing is to create either a moment or a character that pull on the heartstrings of the reader,
Yes.
and to be able to do a villain, hated as it is, it's a tall order. And on top of that, as an actress or an actor, to be able to get what's on writing and make it believable in the point where, we have examples like in Game of Thrones, King Joffrey, right?
Yeah.
To be able to do a job so well that you are hated, it's also an impressive fact, and feat
Feet.
from an actor.
But it's not just the actor, it's the writing.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mhm.
the actor might be able to put believable character traits into the action of portraying that character, but the character has to be there in the first place. There has to be that utter scumbag characterization within the writing first. And I admit I haven't read Game of Thrones like a lot of people have, but I'm sure it must be in there because it didn't just appear out of nowhere for the TV series.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But like everybody's supposedly got a a villain inside them, and it all depends on how strongly the other facets of your personality outshine that villainous side. And some people they don't at all. But as a writer, trying to create a believable villain when you just can't think like that, it's just not what you do. And then you've got to start thinking, well, if I was a villain, what would I do? Like, I mean, you can kind of supplement your villainous abilities by reading about other villains. But a true villain that you hate has got to have motivations. They're not just doing it because they have the villain tag.
Yeah.
They're doing it because they have reasons to be doing it. And I thought in this, Quinn had good reasons to be pissed off with humanity because humanity had done her the dirty. But to decide all of humanity should die because a few uneducated religious zealots had mistreated her seemed to be a little bit of an overreaction to me, anyway.
I wonder if, because for some reason, I mean, in our conversation, I was analyzing, the time that she has in this world and the things that she's seen. I think if that might explain that, I think that's the only reason in my head that explains why she is the way she is because of the things that she's seen for as long as she's seen it.
Mm.
But again, we don't have a base to compare this because no one has lived that long.
Exactly.
I had to read the comics.
Yeah, I think the comics are a must now. I want to get back to the source and see what the writers' pure motivations were in the comics.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the whole idea of being immortal is interesting. Certainly, our mortality sneaks up on us rather quickly, even though, I'm 56 now, but I'm feeling it. And I'm not looking forward to what's coming, in as much as, things stopping working. But they've already started doing that, but I don't need any more of that. But the idea of, being able to last for ridiculously long periods of time, but then realizing that everything that you love dies and you don't, is another thing that kind of makes it, well, it's more than a double-edged sword. It's very spiky, as far as being an experience and being a satisfying thing is concerned. And I mean, I don't think there would be that many people who get to the end of their life and go, I could use another 10 good years. I wouldn't mind having that. But when it's never ending, I mean, everything stops having meaning because there's no end to it.
Yeah.
It's like, I enjoy a good apple pie, but if I had a billion apple pies and, there was never an end to them, would I still enjoy them? It's a law of diminishing returns.
That's the reason I don't like fishing.
Yeah, it's the more you get of something, the less important it is to you. And if you're immortal, you got all the time in the world, and then it just stops having meaning. So, I mean, that's the sort of thing that Booker was experiencing, which is why he wanted an expiration date. So, I mean, there's a whole bunch of deep thinking ideas in these two movies, which are really worth considering. Not that I think you'll find any answers, because none of us are immortal, but that I know of, but that I've spoken to. But it is really an interesting topic, and even though it's not pure sci-fi, it's in that realm, which is why we're covering it, and it gives you a lot to think about.
And if you're immortal, we'll like to have you on the show.
Yes, please come on and tell us your experiences. But then you'll have to kill us. No, don't kill us. Dear. So, of course, if you'd like to discuss this with us, surely we none of us have all the time in the world, but if you would like to spend a little bit of time talking about these topics and others to do with sci-fi, you're very welcome to. How would you do that? Well, you join us on our Discord. Our Discord is an interesting place where we have all sorts of conversations about sci-fi and science and all sorts of interesting things in and around and to do with those realms. And we'd love to see you there. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can just scan that QR code there. Or if you look in the show notes for the episode of the podcast, you can find our Discord invite link there. Now, Discord's pretty easy to get onto if you don't have it already. You just need to download the app for your device or the software for your PC. You will have to sign up to get an account for it, but it is free on the very base level. And then you just click on that Discord invite link and log in, and it will take you through, and you'll be on our Discord server in no time flat. Now, our Discord server has a lot of different channels to do with all sorts of different topics and divisions within the sci-fi genre. So when you come in, there'll be a list of do's and don'ts, the rules for the server. They're pretty basic, rule number one of the internet, don't be a dick, which most people fail at, unfortunately, but there you have it. And you select the areas that you want to be involved in and then start chatting with us. And we'd love to have you. We're regularly on there. Every day we'll be posting things up about what we're looking at, what we're watching, what we're thinking about. You'll be able to see the regular releases of the podcasts. You'll see announcements about questions we've asked on socials, interesting conversations we've had on socials. And when we put out short reads, they'll also be posted there. You'll be able to catch those up very quickly. So that's our Discord server. Do join us over there and have a chat with us. We'd like to know what you're interested in sci-fi. We're always looking for our next interesting watch. So if you join us there, tell us what you're into at the moment. My tongue's getting twisted. And we'd love to chat with you there anytime you're available. And we have a couple of websites. The first one is sciencefictionremnant.com. That is obviously our jumping off point for the podcast. There you can find our currently released episode and our back catalogue, which is getting quite significant after quite a number of years now that the podcast has been running. You can find all sorts of interesting things there, including episode 12, which is the Old Guard 1, the original movie back in 2021 when these two fine gentlemen covered it because I wasn't around yet. You can also find short reads there, their ideas, thought experiments, and comments on sci-fi and current science. And we'd love to hear what you think about those and any other topic ideas that you might have for other short reads that we could research and pop up there. And of course, we do accept guest writers. If you've got a topic that you'd like to write about and you want a platform to display that, we'd certainly be interested in taking a look at that. And if it fits with our aesthetic, then we'd be very happy to support that and post that up there for you. We have another website called thisissci-fi.net. That one's in its early stages, and that one's for the creators. So if you're a creator of anything sci-fi and you'd like to get that out there with the This Is Sci-Fi hashtag, do hit that website up, have a look at it, see if you can suggest any improvements that we could make to help support you and other creators, and just get involved. We'd love to have you over there involved on that website as well. You can also find us on Substack, Threads, Blue Sky, and also our regular X posts. So we're all over the socials. We're also on Facebook, Insta. So we're in lots of places. Do hit us up in one of those that's your preference and let us know what you're watching, what you're into, and what you think about what we think about sci-fi that we've been covering recently, because we're always up for another conversation about what's good in sci-fi now and in the past. Substack, I will mention, is a new way to get content. Basically, we have a Substack there which we release our short reads onto and other commentary about what's happening in sci-fi at the moment. You can either log on to the website and read through the Substack posts, or you can have it set up to be delivered to your inbox. So easy peasy lemon squeezy, you can see what's happening on our Substack, and you can sign up for other Substacks there to do with sci-fi or whatever subjects you are into. And you can get all those delivered to your inbox as well. So it makes it pretty easy to get new content to do with sci-fi and other topics that you're interested in. So check out Substacks. We have a Buy Me a Coffee. It's a way to show appreciation to what we do here at the podcast. Obviously, creating a podcast is not free, and Robert and I have been putting the money into that at the moment as we can. And if you feel that you're getting value out of our podcast and you'd like to make a one-off donation or regularly help out the podcast, we'd greatly appreciate that. So you can scan that QR code there on the screen right now, or if you're listening to the podcast, it's in the podcast show notes. You can click on the link there and go to our Buy Me a Coffee and give us a little bit of a helping hand to keep the podcast up and running. We have a hotline. We've mentioned this a few times before, but the number is 1-305-563-6334. That's 1-305-563-6334. Now, that's a particularly good way to make a start in getting on the show. If you leave us a message there, you can talk about something you liked about the show, or something that you're doing, or something to do with sci-fi that's not related to either. And if you have that interest and would like to leave us a message, we'd love to hear from you. We can play that message in a future episode and talk around it in part of the This is Sci-Fi segment. So if you feel up to it, leave us a message. We'd be happy to hear it. Of course, if you'd like to be involved in the show, and you have a favorite sci-fi we haven't covered, you can contact us on our Discord and get involved with us that way. We'd love to have you on. We always love having guests on the show. It's always great to get another opinion and another take on either something we've already covered or something we haven't covered yet that you're introducing us to, because we love lots of sci-fi and we'd love to hear from you about what's your favorite, and we'd love to discuss with you what's our favorite. We don't always have to agree, but we always have to agree that we love sci-fi. And if you've got to this point in the show, A, I'm impressed, and B, I know you love sci-fi. So it's great to have you with us, and we hope you'll join us again for another episode of Sci-Fi Remnant. Thanks for joining us, and see you next week. Bye for now.
See you next time.